age 7, your relationship with money was already damaged. Not by what anyone told you about money, not by the books you read or the advice you receive, but by something far more primitive. Something that happened in your body before you even understood what money was. If you've ever felt that invisible ceiling, that point where more money starts to feel wrong, dangerous, or undeserved, your nervous system is trying to protect you from what it perceives as a threat. In the next hour, you'll understand exactly why your body keeps you poor, why financial success triggers the same biological responses as physical danger, and more importantly, how to teach your nervous system that wealth and safety can coexist. But first, I need to tell you about a kitchen table conversation that changed everything. Whether you're fully focused right now, or simply letting this play in the background while you work, rest, or drift to sleep, your subconscious mind is listening. The gentle frequencies woven into this audio are designed to quietly reprogram your relationship with money and abundance. So there's no need to concentrate. Just relax. Let the words and frequencies do their work. Your mind will absorb what it needs. The kitchen table revelation. Sarah was 8 years old when she first learned that money was dangerous. Not through words, through her mother's body. Every month, when the bills arrived, Sarah would watch her mother's shoulders rise toward her ears. Her breathing would become shallow. Her jaw would clench. The kitchen would fill with a tension so thick that Sarah could feel it in her own small chest. One evening, after her father had stormed out following another argument about the mortgage payment, Sarah found her mother crying at the kitchen table, surrounded by papers. "Money ruins everything," her mother whispered, not knowing Sarah was listening from the doorway. Sarah's nervous system recorded this moment with perfect clarity. Money equals danger. Money equals conflict. Money equals the people you love disappearing into the night. 32 years later, Sarah earns 6 figures as a marketing executive. She's intelligent, capable, and hardworking. Yet every time her bank balance grows beyond a certain point, she finds herself making inexplicable decisions. She'll quit a lucrative project. She'll make an impulsive purchase that drains her savings. She'll sabotage opportunities that could increase her income. Sarah doesn't understand why she does this. She thinks it's a character flaw, a lack of discipline. What she doesn't realize is that her nervous system is functioning exactly as it was programmed to function. It's protecting her from what it learned decades ago at a kitchen table was a mortal threat. This is the story of your money. Not the story you tell yourself about budgets and financial planning, but the story your body tells itself about survival. Section 1. The nervous system's money map. Your nervous system doesn't understand currency. It doesn't comprehend investment portfolios or retirement planning. What it understands is threat and safety. And somewhere in your early years, it created a map of where money fits on that spectrum. Dr. Stephen Porges, the creator of polyvagal theory, discovered that our autonomic nervous system operates through 3 distinct pathways. The newest pathway, the ventral vagal complex, governs our capacity for social connection and calm alertness. The middle pathway, the sympathetic nervous system, activates fight or flight responses. The oldest pathway, the dorsal vagal complex, triggers shutdown and collapse. Here's what's fascinating. Your nervous system assigns money to one of these pathways based on your earliest experiences. And once that assignment is made, it becomes your financial operating system. Consider 3 different children, each observing their family's relationship with money. The first child grows up in a household where money flows easily. Parents discuss financial decisions calmly. There's enough for needs and wants. Money is associated with freedom, choice, and security. This child's ventral vagal system learns to associate money with safety and connection. The second child experiences money as a source of constant stress. Parents argue about bills. There's never enough. Money conversations are heated, urgent, filled with anxiety. This child's sympathetic nervous system learns that money equals danger, conflict, and the need to fight or flee. The third child lives in a household where money is scarce and hope is scarcer. Parents have given up trying to improve their situation. There's resignation, depression, a sense that nothing will ever change. This child's dorsal vagal system learns that money is associated with helplessness and collapse. By age 7, these children have developed what we might call their financial tolerance window, the range of financial circumstances their nervous system considers safe. Section 2. The biology of financial self-sabotage. Your financial tolerance window operates like a thermostat. When your financial situation moves outside this window, either too much or too little, your nervous system activates to bring you back to familiar territory. This isn't conscious. This isn't a decision you make. This is your autonomic nervous system doing what it's designed to do: maintain homeostasis and ensure survival. Let's explore how this shows up in real life. When someone with a narrow financial tolerance window suddenly comes into money, through a promotion, an inheritance, or a business success, their nervous system may interpret this as dangerous. The sympathetic system activates. They feel anxious, guilty, or undeserving. Their body is flooded with stress hormones. To relieve this discomfort, they unconsciously make decisions that return them to their familiar financial state. They might overspend, make poor investments, or sabotage the very opportunities that brought them success. Their nervous system celebrates this return to familiar territory, even if their conscious mind is frustrated. This is why lottery winners so often end up broke. Why people who receive large inheritances frequently squander them. Why entrepreneurs who achieve sudden success often watch their businesses collapse. It's not about character or intelligence. It's about nervous system tolerance. But the window works in the opposite direction too. When someone's financial situation drops below their tolerance level, their sympathetic system activates to restore the familiar state. They might work frantically, take desperate risks, or make impulsive decisions to get back to their comfort zone. The key insight here is that your nervous system doesn't distinguish between good and bad financial states. It only recognizes familiar and unfamiliar. And unfamiliar always equals potential danger. Section 3. Somatic markers and money decisions. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio discovered that we make decisions not through pure logic, but through what he called somatic markers, bodily sensations that guide our choices before we're consciously aware of them. Every financial decision you make is preceded by a physical sensation. A tightening in your chest, a flutter in your stomach, a sense of expansion or contraction. These somatic markers, formed through past experiences, influence your choices more powerfully than any rational analysis. Consider the last time you were about to make a significant purchase. Before you calculated whether you could afford it, before you weighed the pros and cons, your body gave you information. Did you feel excited or anxious? Did your breathing change? Did you feel an urge to move toward the purchase or away from it? These sensations aren't random. They're your nervous system's way of communicating based on its learned associations with money and spending. Someone whose nervous system learned that spending money leads to security might feel a sense of relief and expansion when making purchases. Their body says yes to spending because it associates financial outflow with safety and care. Someone whose nervous system learned that spending money leads to danger might feel constriction and anxiety when making purchases. Their body says no to spending because it associates financial outflow with threat and scarcity. Neither response is right or wrong. They're both intelligent responses based on the nervous system's learned patterns, but they can lead to very different financial outcomes. The person whose body says yes to spending might struggle with saving and accumulating wealth. The person whose body says no to spending might accumulate money but struggle to enjoy it or invest in opportunities for growth. Section 4. The Polyvagal Approach to Financial Healing. Traditional financial advice focuses on behavior modification. Budget better. Save more. Invest wisely. But if your nervous system hasn't been addressed, these strategies often fail because they're fighting against your body's survival programming. The polyvagal approach to financial healing works differently. Instead of trying to override your nervous system, it seeks to understand and gradually expand your financial tolerance window. This process begins with awareness. Not just mental awareness, but somatic awareness. The ability to notice what's happening in your body when money is involved. Start by observing your physical responses to different financial situations. When you check your bank balance, what do you notice in your body? When you pay bills, how does your breathing change? When you consider making an investment, what sensations arise? This isn't about judging these responses or trying to change them immediately. It's about developing what Dr. Dan Siegel calls mindsight, the ability to observe your internal experience with curiosity rather than criticism. As you develop this awareness, you'll begin to notice patterns. Certain financial amounts trigger specific responses. Certain types of spending feel safe while others feel dangerous. Certain income levels feel comfortable while others feel overwhelming. These patterns reveal the boundaries of your financial tolerance window. And once you can see these boundaries, you can begin to gently expand them. Section 5. Nervous system regulation and wealth building. Expanding your financial tolerance window isn't about forcing yourself to feel differently about money. It's about creating new experiences of safety in your nervous system, while gradually increasing your financial capacity. This process requires what polyvagal theory calls co-regulation, the use of relationship and environment to support nervous system healing. Just as your original financial programming was created through relationship, it can be healed through relationship. One powerful approach is to find what therapist Peter Levine calls pendulation, the gentle movement between activation and calm. Instead of trying to leap from your current financial state to your desired one, you create small, manageable expansions that allow your nervous system to adjust gradually. For example, if your current comfort zone is having $5,000 in savings, you might gradually increase this to $5,500, then $6,000, allowing your nervous system to adjust to each new level before moving to the next. This prevents the shock that often triggers self-sabotage. Similarly, if you're working to increase your income, you might focus on small, incremental increases rather than dramatic leaps. This allows your nervous system to gradually expand its definition of safe financial territory. But the most important element is learning to regulate your nervous system when financial stress arises. This might involve breathing techniques, movement practices, or what trauma therapist Bessel van der Kolk calls befriending your body. When you notice financial anxiety arising, instead of pushing through it or avoiding it, you can learn to work with it. You might place a hand on your chest and breathe slowly. You might notice your feet on the ground and feel your connection to the earth. You might gently shake or move your body to discharge activation. These practices teach your nervous system that it's possible to feel safe even when dealing with money. Over time, this creates new neural pathways that support financial growth rather than sabotage it. Section 6. The window of financial tolerance in practice. Understanding your financial tolerance window is one thing. Working with it skillfully is another. Let's explore how this looks in practical terms. Your financial tolerance window has both upper and lower boundaries. The lower boundary represents the minimum amount of financial security your nervous system requires to feel safe. Drop below this level, and you'll experience activation, anxiety, urgency, the drive to restore your familiar state. The upper boundary represents the maximum amount of wealth or financial success your nervous system can handle before it starts to feel dangerous. Cross this threshold, and you might experience guilt, unworthiness, or the unconscious drive to return to familiar territory. Most people are aware of their lower boundary. They know the bank balance that triggers panic, the income level below which they feel unsafe. But many people are unaware of their upper boundary until they hit it. This upper boundary often reveals itself through what psychologists call upper limit problems, the self-sabotaging behaviors that emerge when we exceed our nervous system's comfort zone for success, happiness, or abundance. Someone might work for years to build a successful business, only to make a series of poor decisions when the business reaches a certain level of profitability. Another person might consistently earn up to a specific amount, then find themselves unable to break through to the next income level despite their best efforts. These aren't character flaws or lack of ambition. They're signs that the person has reached their nervous system's upper limit for financial safety. The key to expanding this window lies in what trauma therapist Resmaa Menakem calls metabolizing the activation that arises when we approach our boundaries. Instead of avoiding the discomfort or pushing through it, we learn to stay present with it, allowing our nervous system to gradually adjust to new levels of financial reality. Section 7. Generational Patterns in Financial DNA. Your financial tolerance window isn't just shaped by your personal experiences. It's also influenced by what researchers call intergenerational trauma, the way survival patterns are passed down through families and cultures. Dr. Rachel Yehuda's groundbreaking research on epigenetics shows that trauma can literally alter gene expression in ways that affect future generations. The financial stress your grandparents experienced during the Great Depression might still be influencing your nervous system's response to money today. This helps explain why financial patterns often repeat across generations. It's not just about learned behaviors or family beliefs about money. It's about inherited nervous system patterns that operate below the level of conscious awareness. A family that survived poverty might pass down nervous system patterns that prioritize extreme frugality and fear of spending. A family that experienced financial instability might pass down patterns of hypervigilance around money and difficulty trusting financial security. These patterns served important survival functions for previous generations, but they might not serve your current life circumstances. Understanding this can help you approach your financial patterns with compassion rather than self-criticism. Your nervous system isn't broken. It's functioning exactly as it was designed to function based on the information it received about money and survival. The question isn't how to fix it, but how to gently update its programming for your current reality. This process often involves what family therapists call differentiation, the ability to honor your family's survival wisdom while choosing different patterns for your own life. It's about maintaining connection to your roots while allowing your financial story to evolve. Section 8. The Physiology of Financial Abundance. What does it feel like in your body when your relationship with money is healthy? This isn't a theoretical question. Your nervous system needs to experience what financial safety feels like before it can allow you to move toward it. When your ventral vagal system is online and money feels safe, you experience what researchers call calm alertness. Your breathing is deep and easy. Your muscles are relaxed, but responsive. Your mind is clear and focused without being anxious or driven. In this state, financial decisions come from wisdom rather than fear. You can consider long-term investments without anxiety. You can spend money on things you value without guilt. You can receive money without feeling unworthy or overwhelmed. But here's the paradox. You can't think your way into this state. You can't convince your nervous system to feel safe through logic or positive thinking. Safety is a felt sense that emerges when your body experiences actual safety. This is why traditional financial advice often fails. It addresses the cognitive level, budgets, strategies, plans, without addressing the somatic level where your financial decisions actually originate. Creating felt safety around money requires what therapist Pat Ogden calls bottom-up processing, working with the body and nervous system to create new experiences of safety, which then influence thoughts and behaviors. This might involve practices like gentle movement while thinking about your financial goals, allowing your body to associate money with ease rather than tension. It might involve breathing exercises while reviewing your finances, teaching your nervous system that money and calm can coexist. It might involve what somatic therapist Peter Levine calls resourcing, identifying experiences, places, or relationships that help your nervous system feel genuinely safe, then gradually associating these resources with your financial life. Why? Section 9. Practical nervous system tools for financial growth. Let's explore specific practices for working with your nervous system to support financial growth and stability. The first practice is what we might call financial check-ins. Instead of just looking at numbers when you review your finances, pay attention to your body's responses. Notice your breathing, your muscle tension, the sensations in your chest and stomach. If you notice activation, anxiety, tension, the urge to avoid or rush, pause. Place your hand on your heart or your belly. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Remind your nervous system that you're safe in this moment. The second practice involves titration, working with small amounts of financial activation rather than overwhelming your system. If looking at your full financial picture feels overwhelming, start smaller. Look at just one account. Review just 1 week of spending. Allow your nervous system to adjust gradually. The third practice is pendulation, the gentle movement between activation and calm. When you notice financial stress arising, don't try to eliminate it immediately. Instead, notice it. Then consciously shift your attention to something that feels safe and stable. This might be feeling your feet on the ground, noticing your breath, or remembering a moment when you felt truly secure. Spend a few moments in this calmer state, then gently return your attention to the financial matter at hand. This teaches your nervous system that it's possible to move between activation and calm, rather than getting stuck in chronic stress or avoidance around money. The fourth practice involves what trauma therapist Sonia Ray Taylor calls radical self-compassion. When you notice self-sabotaging financial behaviors, instead of criticizing yourself, try to understand what your nervous system was trying to protect. That impulsive purchase might have been your nervous system's attempt to soothe activation. That avoidance of financial planning might have been your system's way of preventing overwhelm. These behaviors made sense given your nervous system's programming. This doesn't mean excusing destructive patterns, but it means approaching them with curiosity and compassion rather than judgment and force. Section 10. Integration and Embodied Wealth. As we near the end of our exploration, let's consider what it means to embody wealth, not just to have money, but to feel genuinely safe and at ease with financial abundance. Embodied wealth isn't about reaching a specific financial goal. It's about expanding your nervous system's capacity to handle whatever level of financial reality you're living. It's about developing what psychologist Dr. Barbara Fredrickson calls emotional granularity around money, the ability to distinguish between different financial emotions and respond to each appropriately. When your nervous system has integrated a healthy relationship with money, several things become possible that weren't possible before. You can receive money without immediately looking for ways to get rid of it. You can accumulate wealth without feeling guilty or unworthy. You can spend money on things you value without anxiety or regret. You can make financial decisions from a place of calm clarity rather than fear or compulsion. You can take calculated risks without your nervous system interpreting them as life-threatening dangers. Most importantly, you can allow your financial reality to fluctuate without your nervous system going into crisis mode. You develop what researchers call financial resilience, the ability to navigate financial challenges without being overwhelmed by them. This doesn't mean you become reckless or unconcerned about money. It means your relationship with money becomes more flexible, more responsive, more aligned with your actual current circumstances, rather than your historical programming. The journey toward embodied wealth is not linear. Your nervous system will continue to be activated by financial situations, especially as you grow and expand beyond familiar territory. But you develop the skills to work with this activation rather than being controlled by it. You learn to recognize when your nervous system is responding to old programming versus current reality. You develop practices for regulating yourself when financial stress arises. You create support systems that help your nervous system feel safe as you navigate new financial territory. Section 11. The collective nervous system and money. Our exploration wouldn't be complete without acknowledging that your individual nervous system doesn't exist in isolation. It's constantly interacting with what researchers call the collective nervous system, the shared emotional and energetic field of your family, community, and culture. The financial stress in your environment affects your nervous system, even when it's not your personal stress. The anxiety your partner feels about money impacts your own financial nervous system. The economic uncertainty in your community influences your sense of financial safety. This is why financial healing often requires more than individual work. It requires what trauma therapist Resmaa Menakem calls cultural somatics, addressing the collective nervous system patterns that shape our relationship with money. In many cultures, there are shared nervous system patterns around money that get passed down through generations. Some cultures carry collective trauma around poverty and scarcity. Others carry collective trauma around wealth and power. Understanding these larger patterns can help you contextualize your personal financial nervous system. Your individual patterns don't exist in a vacuum. They're part of larger cultural and historical patterns that have shaped how entire groups of people relate to money. This understanding can bring both compassion and empowerment. Compassion because you realize that your financial struggles aren't personal failures. They're often the result of larger systems and historical forces. Empowerment because you realize that healing your individual relationship with money contributes to healing these larger patterns. When you develop a healthier nervous system response to money, you're not just changing your own life. You're contributing to the healing of your family system, your community, and potentially future generations. Summary: the path forward. We've traveled together through the landscape of your nervous system's relationship with money. We've explored how your earliest experiences created your financial tolerance window. We've examined how your body makes financial decisions through somatic markers. We've discovered how polyvagal theory explains financial self-sabotage and points toward healing. The central insight is this: your financial behaviors aren't character flaws or lack of discipline. They're intelligent responses from a nervous system that's trying to keep you safe, based on its learned understanding of money and survival. Your nervous system doesn't know that you live in the 21st century with access to financial tools and opportunities your ancestors couldn't imagine. It's still operating from programming that was created in your early years. influenced by your family's survival patterns and your culture's relationship with money. But this programming isn't permanent. Your nervous system has the capacity for what neuroscientists call neuroplasticity, the ability to create new neural pathways throughout your life. The path forward isn't about forcing yourself to think differently about money. It's about creating new experiences of safety in your nervous system while gradually expanding your financial tolerance window. This process requires patience, compassion, and what trauma therapist Peter Levine calls befriending your nervous system. Instead of fighting against your body's responses to money, you learn to work with them skillfully. You develop practices for regulating your nervous system when financial stress arises. You learn to recognize when you're approaching the boundaries of your financial tolerance window and how to navigate these edges without triggering self-sabotage. You begin to understand that your financial journey is not just about accumulating wealth, but about developing the nervous system capacity to handle whatever level of financial reality you're creating. This is deep work. It's not about quick fixes or overnight transformations. It's about gradually updating your nervous system's understanding of money and safety in the modern world. But the results of this work extend far beyond your bank account. When you heal your nervous system's relationship with money, you often find that other areas of your life begin to shift as well. Your relationships improve. Your creativity expands. Your overall sense of well-being increases. This makes sense when you understand that money is rarely just about money. It's about safety, power, freedom, connection, and survival. When you heal your relationship with money at the nervous system level, you're healing your relationship with these fundamental aspects of human experience. Otron. As we close this exploration, I want to acknowledge something important. Simply listening to this information has already begun to shift something in your nervous system. Your body has been absorbing new possibilities, new ways of understanding your relationship with money. The gentle frequencies woven throughout this audio have been working at levels below conscious awareness, helping to create new neural pathways that support financial safety and abundance. Change doesn't always happen through effort and force. Sometimes it happens through exposure to new information, through the gradual expansion of what your nervous system considers possible. Trust the process. Trust your body's wisdom. Trust that the seeds planted in this conversation will continue to grow in the days and weeks ahead. Your nervous system has kept you safe for your entire life. Now it's learning that it can keep you safe while also allowing you to thrive financially. This is not a betrayal of your survival programming. It's an evolution of it. The path toward financial healing is not about becoming someone different. It's about becoming more fully yourself, the version of yourself that exists beyond the limitations of old programming, the version that can hold both safety and abundance, both groundedness and growth. Your body knows how to heal. Your nervous system knows how to adapt and evolve. The wisdom is already within you. Sometimes it just needs permission to emerge. Take your time with this work. Be gentle with yourself. Remember that every small shift in your nervous system's relationship with money is contributing to something larger, your own healing, your family's healing, and the healing of the collective patterns that have kept so many people trapped in financial struggle. The conversation between your nervous system and money is ongoing. Make it a conscious conversation. Make it a compassionate one. And trust that your body's wisdom will guide you toward the financial reality that serves your highest good. Until we meet again in the space where healing happens, be well.